Get you around.
Quit shaking.
Okay, you're up.
I'm up.
I think we're live.
Are we on?
I think so. Where's your phone at?
That would have been a good thought. Why don't you just put it on the sign right there?
Okay. Wendy's going to get her phone so we can see comments. We're new to this whole live thing, so
Yeah. Yeah, it says we're on.
okay. Says we got 3 people on.
Okay. Well, we'll wait a little bit to get started, but if you haven't seen our channel, I'm Wendy from Chick-a-Woof Ranch, and we decided that this cold weather right now, a lot of people are making soap, and so that's what we're going to do. But we have been putting it off for quite a while. We're going to make what's called pine tar soap, which is good for poison ivy, getting the oils off of your skin from the poison ivy when you've come in contact with it. So that is if you know you've come in contact with it. I can't remember what the time frame is, but I think if you can get it washed off in about 30 minutes. And so anyway, this soap will really help with that. So
I saw too that it helps with eczema.
I don't know.
So, but I was doing a little research online the other night about the pine tar soap, and there's actually a lot of videos on how to make this, but I didn't see the way we make it with the goat milk soap. I didn't see that, so that's kind of why we're doing the video. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, we have dairy goats, and so that was one of the things that we do with our goat's milk is, of course, we just drink it raw. But right now we don't have any girls in milk. We've dried everybody out for the season. They're bred, and we just decided to start a little bit later with our kidding this year, and we usually start in March sometime, and we've delayed it a little bit till April this year, a little longer break, but we froze our milk so that we can pull it out and thaw it out for ourselves to drink during the dry spell. But when we have too much, what we like to do is that we freeze it and put it in ice cube trays. So you can kind of see here that it's got a little frost because it's been in the chest freezer for quite a while, probably this summer now, but that's okay. That won't make any difference. But we have found when we're making the soap, they always say to be careful.
Hi, Diane.
To not let the heat rise or whatever, to the lye to cook too quickly so you can scald your milk. So the way we do it is that we put the raw goat's milk in an ice cube tray, and then we freeze them and pop them out, and then we save them in a baggie. Makes it really easy for measuring it out too when we're getting our ingredients all lined up. So, yep.
Okay. So
Okay.
you want to get started?
Okay.
You want to tell them, I guess, what's in the ingredients?
Okay.
You want to just...
I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead.
So we have our recipe here of our pine tar soap, and we pulled it off online, and we will put it down below when this video posts. We will have it down in the description so that you can follow it along. But basically, you can see right now that we've kind of made notes for ourselves that we double most of the batches of soap that we make. And the reason why we double the batch is because we like to use our soap, use this cradle, and we've got it all set up. It's just made out of wood. Troy put hinges on it, which we really haven't used. We thought it was going to be handy for unmolding, but when we use it as our soap mold, we just line it with saran wrap, and we have to tape it down in place so that when we pour it in, it doesn't all sink in. But for us, this is a double batch, and we slice it into like 1-inch pieces.
Yep.
Is that right?
Mhm.
We do 1-inch pieces, and we get like 17
Yep.
bars out of it, I believe. So for most recipes, this is a double batch. This is just a mold that has the print handmade on it that we've ordered, and it has 8 bars in here. This would be a single batch. So if you were gonna, when we'll put the description down below, we'll kind of show you, and I don't know, we'll designate whether it's a single batch. So if you're making a single batch, then this is what you're kind of looking at. Here's the depth of it. They're about the same.
About an inch and a half.
Yeah. Well, it depends with this. It gives you a little bit of grace here as you're filling it up around the rim in case you were to spill over. But this is what we're going for right here. So anyway, our ingredients, we substitute all of the water in in the recipes we make for goat's milk. So if it calls for 4 ounces of water and then 4 ounces of goat milk, we make it all goat's milk. So that's why we freeze the ice cubes, freeze them into ice cube size. So goat's milk, we are gonna do 20 ounces, lye, and the easiest way to get this is just what it says. Sometimes your hardware stores are the places to find those. We have like an Ace hardware store, and that's where we find it. We can't typically find it other places like Walmart or Lowe's or anything. So of course you can order it online. But of course the pine tar, same thing. Sometimes you have to search for that online.
Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply. I mean, it's we don't have any horses, but it's used with horses with hooves. Olive oil, I said the lye. The castor oil helps with lathering, and then coconut oil. So this bar has already been used. This is the last of our batch that we keep around. Like I said, for poison ivy exposure, you can use it all over your body. Just depends on
Hi, Christy.
what you like, or you know. The smell is kind of strong. I kind of like the pine tar smell, but it is very strong when you're not used to it. So we've done our best. It's like a cooking show here. I've kind of done my best to measure everything out and get it prepped because this is live, so I don't want it to take terribly long. So we'll just see how it goes. We'll fake it right along if we need to. So really, I have found there's basically 2 processes to this, and it's your lye and water, but in our case it's the goat's milk and the oils. And you want to get them within range of each other. I think 75, 80 degrees. I think they can have a 10-degree difference. Is the lye 70 degrees?
Ideally, they should be the same.
Well, they can be within, I know it's like they can be within 10 degrees of each other.
Right.
And we're so used to doing this that we're kind of on robotic mode a little bit. But I have found that the oils that need to be melted, because it's so cold right now that the coconut oil has solidified. So I already started that, and I melted the coconut oil over here on the stove. I'm gonna get my thermometer, see where we're at. And the reason why I decided to melt the coconut oil separate was when your oils get up pretty high in temperature, it's hard to, bring them back down. Then you got to worry about putting them on ice. So I melted this separately because if I were to put the olive oil and the coconut oil together and bring it up to temperature, and if I get it, too fast, then I've got to worry about bringing it back down. So I thought the best case scenario was to heat this up till it's liquefied. Now I'm going to add it to my olive oil, and then we'll check the temperature and see where it's at. And then if I need to raise it up, then I can raise it up just a little bit. It's easier to raise it up than it is to bring it back down. And for, you know, doing this live, like I said, I'm trying to think one step ahead and make it easier. So,
Hi, Chelsea.
okay, so I'll take this over to the, well, I need my temperature. Okay. And this was a double batch, so we had how many, was it 36 ounces of olive oil? It's going in here. And then the coconut oil is 15 ounces. So the olive oil's room temperature right now. I'm gonna add the coconut oil, and then we'll see where we're at. You can do this in a microwave, and that's what we used to do. And if you've watched our channel, we've decided to kick the microwave to the curb. So now we're just doing everything stovetop and oven, but we do have a toaster oven, because the one thing we were going to miss about having a microwave was honestly just reheating leftovers. So, okay. So even still, it's gonna have to come down a little bit. It's at 100 degrees right now. We need it more at 80. So basically what we'll do is we'll let this sit, and I'll probably be switching off with Troy, and he's going to show you how the lye and the goat's milk soap works. Everything will end up together in the pot, and we'll put it in the mold. So this can sit, and we'll just let it kind of come down in temp, and we'll switch off, right?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so Wendy usually does the oil, and then I usually take care of the milk and the lye, and that we kind of tag team it that way, and it works out really well. If you're doing this by yourself, it'll take a little more coordination, so it might be frustrating at first to get your temperatures matched up. But when we're doing it, we're usually pretty good. We've gotten it down to pretty good science, but
Okay.
Let's
go over to the sink and show how we've got it set up.
So I already have this measured out. How much was in here? I don't remember. So we have 20 ounces of goat milk soap.
And we've put it in the ice cube trays and froze it ahead of time. So this is our setup here in the sink. We've got a stainless steel bowl with our ice cubes in it, and another stainless steel bowl on the top. So you have to work on, you know, your system. It needs to be glass or stainless steel. Okay. So we pre-measured this out. So this is just frozen goat's milk in the ice cubes. And we've pre-measured all of our other ingredients. So the lye is going to go right on top of the goat's milk. And this is going to keep it from rising to temperature too quickly. And so...
Ready?
So this is the lye. And basically, just sprinkle it on there.
Left-handed.
And stir it in.
And the lye gets really hot, so even though these are frozen solid, by the end here in about 5 or 6 minutes, this will be totally liquefied pretty quickly. So you just add a little in at a time, because if you try and dump it all in there, it'll shock it and it'll melt it and scorch it. So I just put a few tablespoons in at a time and then stir it around and kind of get it all mixed around.
And same thing, using a stainless steel spoon as well. You don't want to use a rubber spatula when you're working with the lye. And you can kind of start to see the bottom there, it's starting to liquefy. And that's the lye, melting the soap right there. And same kind of thing, you can do it how you want, but we do it here in the sink, just for safety measures, splashing. So kids coming in, whatever, knocking stuff over, you never know. So, yeah. That is the lye melting the goat's milk. So that is exactly why we freeze it. That was a little tip that we learned when we were getting started. We don't get real fancy with doing colorants. Sometimes we've added herbs, but like we said, this one's just the pine tar. And we use the pine tar soap in preventative of poison ivy. So we get it all mixed together. We'll put it in our cradle for our mold. Yep. See, it works pretty fast.
Yeah, this stuff is no joke. This is bad stuff.
And I believe we've read, some people, you know, have asked or read, is there a way to make soap without lye? And from what we found, the answer is no. You have to have the lye, at least with this process. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to check my temperature again. This is the olive oil and the coconut oil. Okay, see, I'm down to, I was at 100, and so it's come down a little bit. And if we have to, when the lye is up to temperature, then I can set this bowl here down into the ice bath over there if we need to bring it down a little bit. So this is our first try with the soap without using a microwave. Every other time we've had a microwave. So
Yeah, it's taken a while to get used to not having a microwave. But
yeah,
it's kind of second nature now.
yeah, but this was just the first process for this. But otherwise, we're converted now. How much of the lye do you have left in there?
Got about a teaspoon left, maybe.
Okay.
I think we're gonna make it. I'm gonna take it off the bath.
Okay. So that it can actually raise up to temp a little bit.
Yeah, because I think since it's chilly in here.
Yeah.
It's winter time, so we usually do this in the spring or summer, and
a lot of times the solid oils are already liquefied. We use coconut oil and we use palm oil pretty regularly in our other flavors, I guess, if you will. Don't lick the spoon.
no. Sorry, using the wrong hand again, aren't I? I'm not left-handed.
Okay, well, you want to see if you can bring the other pot over here and set it in the ice bath just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just set it in there. Okay. We'll set it down in there it needs to come down about 10 to 15 degrees.
Yeah, and usually our ice cubes have melted by this point, so we may have to heat up our soap here.
Yeah.
our milk solution, milk
Lye.
and lye solution. They're still melting, but by this point they're usually have melted.
What's the temp outside today? No.
20.
Yeah.
I think it was 18 when I was out earlier.
Sun's going down. Starting to.
Temperature you got there?
There, kind of get it in the glare, but yeah, you see the gist of it. We're not much below 100, so maybe 95.
I think I'm gonna have to heat this up on the stove.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Nice thing about having gas is, well, you don't want plastic near it. It's a live show. Could get exciting. Yeah, you got it just on low?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So our target range is 75-ish, 80-ish.
Yeah.
We can go for 80-ish.
Now, 75 is, there's,
Looks like it's gonna be in the 60s range.
okay.
You wanna hold it?
Yeah, can't see it. Okay, so that'll come up pretty quickly.
Now you should be. We have tall ceilings in our house, so you should have a well ventilated room when you're doing this with the lye. You should also have gloves and goggles on.
There they are. Okay, salt. When does the salt come in on this one?
Oh, yeah, the salt. They said in the instructions that it's basically for if you're using the silicone molds, it helps it break out of the mold easier. So we're going to go ahead and put it in, even though we're not going to put it in the silicone mold, just because we're going to follow the instructions, because making soap, it's more like an experiment than it is cooking. So you pretty much have to follow the directions.
Yep.
Okay, it looks like we're about up to 80.
Okay, so if we're up to 80, then we want to pull that one off, because we can raise it up a touch if we need to. And we can come back over and check the,
I'm gonna go ahead and put the salt in.
okay. And our salt,
I think it was 2 teaspoons.
yep,
And I just used kosher salt.
yeah,
It didn't say what kind of salt.
so 2 teaspoons of that.
Okay, I got that
Okay.
mixed in, and we are still right at 80.
Okay, so let's check our temperature on the oil right here.
And it is going up. So it is still on the warm side.
Mm-hmm. We put a little bit of water in the,
Sure.
not into the oil. We're gonna put a little bit of water down into the ice bath to kind of submerge it just a little bit.
See down at the bottom, it looks like the coconut oil is starting to. The coconut oil is starting to solidify on the bottom of the pan where it was touching the ice. So we'll Let's keep this stirred up here. Yeah, it's coming down quick now. Okay, let's
Okay.
take it off.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go over there to our spot.
Okay.
Right here.
Okay.
Okay, you want to tell them what's next?
Okay.
Here, you want to do this part, or you want me to mix?
All right.
So we think we have them at the same temperature. It looks like it's around 80. So we're going to mix these two together, and then when we mix them together with the stick blender, that'll emulsify it, which will basically combine everything. And then we're going to put the pine tar in, and then it will trace pretty quickly. And Wendy, you can explain what trace means.
Well, trace is, a soaping term. I can't say that I can explain it really well, but it basically leaves a wake. that's the way I think about it, is that when you're stirring it in and using the stick blender that we have here, nothing fancy, and yep, hey, we are making soap, and just to reiterate, we are making pine tar soap, and pine tar soap is good for poison ivy. If you come in contact with poison ivy, this helps to get the oils off, and that, is something you want to do in about 30 minutes if you know you've come in contact with it, is get the oils off, because the oils are what causes the allergic reaction.
Okay, this
So-
is going to be the noisy part.
This will look kind of noisy. We've just had,
We almost forgot about the castor oil.
okay.
Can you tell them about that?
Okay, so this is the castor oil that's going in. Castor oil helps for lathering with the soap, but what we've just done was we melted the coconut oil in with the olive oil. Those were the two oils. And then we had goat's milk that we froze into an ice cube tray. And that is easier because the lye can scorch milk if you're just using the milk as a liquid.
Sorry.
And so we did that. We got them up to, we got the lye and the goat's milk and the salt up to 75 degrees. The coconut oil and the olive oil were a little bit warm. They were about 100 degrees. And so we had to bring it down and put it in an ice bath. So here's what it looks like right now.
All right, turn down your speakers a little bit, because I'm going to turn this thing on for maybe 30 seconds or so. Okay, I think that's probably pretty
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Should you be wearing your glasses, Troy?
Yes.
Yes, probably. We've done we've done this a few times, and so we shouldn't get complacent about it. But yeah, we do know that splattering can occur. So we've got them on hand, but yeah, they're not going to prevent anything sitting on the counter. So this is the pine tar. We are not going to put any essential oils in with this one. We're just going to leave it natural. This is a batch for some friends of ours that we've been planning to make for quite a while, and so we had to wait till it got cold. And so now it's starting to thicken up.
Yep. typically it will get thick pretty quick, and it'll go all of a sudden like. And they said not to use your. Oh, see, I can feel it already. It's
Yeah, you
starting
can
to thick
see.
up. They say not to use your stick blender because it'll go too quickly on you. And I can already feel it. See, it's. Can you see that?
We've picked up. We found that even Tractor Supply carries pine tar, but otherwise, go online and look for it there. Take your spatula and run on the top just so that they can see. Yeah, see, so when it does that, when it leaves tracks, that's what I jokingly, refer to as like leaving a wake. When it leaves a trail behind, that's what trace is.
Okay, now we're gonna go into the mold.
Okay, so now the mold is behind you.
Oh.
So here we're gonna. All right. Get up here. I'm short. Pine tar. What would you think it's going to smell like? What do you it's
pretty strong at first. It's strong right now. It smells a lot like pine sol.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what they make pine sol out of. It's pine tar. It's pretty strong at first, but when you use it, it's not very strong. It's actually very manly.
Yeah. It is very manly, kind of woodsy, kind of, I don't know. It does make you think of working on equipment, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's that cleaner that
Yeah.
they have on your hand for your hands.
So this is a double batch. We will put the recipe when the down in the description when the video loads. So this is a cradle that Troy has made and put together. It's nothing fancy. Do you remember what
I think it's 18 inches long. 17 inches.
Yeah. No, probably at least 18 inches because we cut it into we get about 17 bars out of it, and we slice them into 1-inch size pieces. I've got a sample here that I will show you.
So I think we did it right because it's not quite setting up yet, because it will set up fast on you if you're not careful. So it will, I'm just trying to smooth it out, make it level so they're all about the same size.
Yep.
This is kind of like mudding.
Yeah. And we usually pick up the cradle and kind of tap it to get any air bubbles. I'm gonna
do that. You want to hold on to that?
Well, okay. All right, I gotta hold the spatula here. I was gonna show you bars, so.
Okay.
This one's obviously been used. I don't know how many times. You could use this on a regular basis if you like it. You can use it over your whole body if you want. It is kind of strong. So it's worn down a little bit, but that gives you the idea that it's, 1 inch thick, and I don't know, there's my hand or whatever about how big, and this is all natural coloring. We didn't add any coloring to it, and we didn't add any essential oils to it. We just left it how it was. So it kind of looks like a chocolate, I don't know, big slowpoke. It's a big piece of candy. Don't want to taste it though.
No, I don't want to taste that. That would be awful.
Nope. So, but yeah, we've enjoyed making this soap, and it really does seem to help, especially if you know that you've gotten into the poison ivy.
Yep.
And
and one thing, I do get poison ivy. Wendy doesn't. And if you are suspect to getting poison ivy, you probably know this, but you should probably first use like a Dawn soap or something.
Yep, because Dawn cuts oils. Yeah.
And then follow it up with a soap kind of like this, and it's kind of a drying soap. So it's got probably a different pH, and it will help strip more of the oils off. So you probably shouldn't rely on one particular soap because if you've had it, it's awful.
Thanks, Texas boys. We'll catch you later.
So I think that's it. So what's going to happen now is we'll leave this for probably 24 to 48 hours in the mold.
We leave it 48 hours.
Is it 48 hours?
2 days in the mold.
Yep, in the mold, and then we take it out of the mold and then cut it into 1-inch pieces.
And then you have to lay them all out flat. We lay like a piece of parchment paper out on a cookie sheet and just lay them out flat, and it has to cure for at least 30 days.
Yep.
Before, yep. How does the mixer clean up with the pine tar?
Oh, good. I just usually run it in the water, and hot water will get the pine tar off pretty easily.
And the instructions actually said to be careful with using a stick blender because the pine tar with this soap sets up so quickly. Troy used it just a little bit right in the beginning. So basically, he didn't get too much on there. With this one here, there's just pop off the.
Yep. So you want to unplug it first?
Yep. So that part of the stick blender just pops off. And because we didn't use it for too long in it, and we have kind of set aside a lot of tools just for soap making that we've reserved for soap making. So that rubber spatula that we use, it's retired now just for soap making. This stick blender is just for soap making. But everything else, the cradle, obviously, but everything else with stainless steel or glass, it dissolves well, and it's easy to sanitize and clean up. So.
Yep. We usually run stuff through the dishwasher too, anyway.
Yeah. Yep. So.
You want to ask if there's anybody's got any questions? Or
Is there anybody that has any questions that we didn't cover everything that we could? Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks yummy, but no way. So here's the pine tar that we used. That's the pine tar that we used, and the olive oil and the lye is easiest to get a hold of at basically like your hardware store. Castor oil, we just picked this up at Walmart, and this coconut oil, basically, yep, you can see where that came from Hoger Goat Supply because we have the dairy goats. And yes, same with any other soap that has lye in it. Not going to be good in the eyes, but as far as kids or anybody, yeah, you can use the soap. It's safe for everybody. So
yeah, we really like it.
So
where's your phone? I'm gonna answer.
But it's right over there.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as this one is a really simple one. The ingredients, total costs. We'll have to break it down and see. I know for in the past, when we have sold bars of soap, we'll usually sell a bar of soap for $5 a piece. So that helps to cover our costs. But really, I don't know how, this is a 32 ounces of the pine tar. That's going to be your most expensive ingredient because really the rest of this is super cheap. So with getting about 17 bars out of it, yeah, I mean, you would eventually go through the pine tar and, use it in a batch. But yeah, this is a cheap soap. It's a good soap to keep around, and, the bars last a long time. With the goat's milk soap, most of the goat's milk soap that we have made, you do have to keep it out of the water. If you leave it sitting in a soap cradle in your shower, it's going to dissolve, or there on the sink. So you need to have it resting on like a shower caddy where it can drain and it's not in direct water.
Yep, but it does dry up pretty quick.
Yeah, this one is maybe a little bit harder than some of the other bars, but the olive oil and the coconut oil does make it a softer
Yep.
soap.
Yeah, and if you want it even harder, you could mix in some beeswax.
Mm-hmm.
Thought about trying that, but
So,
we might experiment that on a non-live show.
yep. How many batches the pine tar can make? Well, this container's a 36 ounce.
32 ounce.
Sorry, 32 ounces. And this batch is a double batch, and so I believe we used 6 ounces? Where's the pine
I
tar?
want to show them too.
There's the pine tar. Yeah. Here's just a quick little snippet. So this one's called Old Fashioned Pine Tar Soap. And of course, I made the notes out to the side because we double it. And anytime that our soap recipes call for water, we just substitute it out for the goat's milk soap. And you can see I put, frozen goat milk cubes. So the cubes weigh out just the same as if the milk was liquefied. So.
And Tanya, when I was doing some research, because I was pretty sure I wasn't going to find any videos, or very few on YouTube. There's actually a lot of videos on how to make the pine tar soap, and most of them said that it was good for eczema also. So I can't. I'm not a doctor and all that business. So, but that's what everybody else was saying. I didn't see anybody say that it was good for poison ivy. So, but that's who we're making it for, is somebody that is susceptible to poison ivy, and it's actually one of our neighbors.
Yep.
What else?
Well, I think that's about it. So, it really went pretty fast, and so it's kind of like a crazy live cooking show. So we had everything measured out, and it melted and went pretty well. So
Old timers eat that stuff? Ugh. Ew.
wow.
That's no good. That's bad.
I don't know, but some of those old timers knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it says right there, it says caution irritant.
Yep. So.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up?
Yep.
Okay. All right, well, thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions after this video, you can put them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer them. I think that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody for coming on and watching us make soap. I know that was exciting. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll see you later.
Good night, all.